Hello and welcome. Grief and Eros. The series is about how to enhance, increase, and start a practice of grieving. One of the most important pieces of this is something called the undulation, and it is wave pattern and movement in the body. And often it can be initiated from the area of the hips. And if anybody here is familiar with yoga, it is sort of the cat cow position or the tilt tuck of the pelvis. The tilt and the tuck can be done seated, can be done standing, can be done prone on the back. On the tilt and the tuck is a great way to start, right? So making sure you're sitting on the sits bones and the legs are supported and relaxed. I'm sitting and begin to tilt and tuck the pelvis. And you can see that this takes the whole spine and the whole upper torso sort of backwards and forwards. And this is a way to move energy in the body and prevent stagnation. And so when working with grief, we have this as one of the most powerful tools to keep the body engaged so we don't do some kind of habitual contraction or lockdown or oppression or freeze response, that we can keep it moving, right? A couple of the other tools that are really helpful with working with grief using eros or life force. So undulation is one, another is breath. Another is sound, and then movement. Rocking is a wonderful way to feel, move, and express grief. And if we can learn to move the rocking into a sort of undulation, it allows life force to move up the spine. And once we have invigorated the spine, we have access to enhanced capillary access, enhanced brain access, and enhanced heart access as well. And so then sound, how do we work with sound? Low moans, following those breath and wave patterns. It can be a hum. Really let the sounds come from within and track the emotion. Yeah. Can be high pitched. Can be any pitch, any sound really helps the energy move in the body. And then letting the breath sort of follow and flow freely around these sort of micro movements that certainly could become macro. So letting the breath flow, letting the sound flow, and letting these undulations flow. The body knows how to do this, right? At its core. We've just forgotten, we've shut things down, but we all have child parts. We all have parts that formed in utero around the core life essence. We all have access to prana. So don't compare, but do whatever is necessary to keep the flow of life moving and trusting. As we feel, we can heal. This is a really important part of emotional healing and developing a sense of grief literacy. And if we're not dealing with a big catastrophic loss in our lives right now, like the death of a dear one, or divorce or separation or loss of a job, any of these really big ones, if we're working with smaller bite-sized pieces, take 10 minutes a day. Work with this undulation, work with this sound, or work with breath, work with these micro movements. If it feels accessible and safe, taking that into dance, taking that into sort of a crawl on the floor, different yoga postures, and spend, 10 minutes with this grief. And It's important and helpful to know that we have a gas pedal and a brake pedal within us. We can turn this on, and we can also say, I don't want to be overwhelmed by this experience. Now, if we are dealing with a catastrophic loss in our lives, then and we haven't built the muscle or the capacity to feel grief and know how to titrate it or pendulate it or work with it, then we may be overwhelmed. We may be overwhelmed, and we may need grief support, grief doula, grief counselor to take some of this immense shattering that can happen for us. This sense of like being blown apart or torn apart or um, obliterated. And that really does need to be worked ultimately through the body, but it's important to take it at a pace and a style that's not too overwhelming. Often what the system will do in the face of overwhelm is it will cushion with shock, right? Shock will be there, and we won't actually sometimes even have access. So this is where it helps to work with someone very literate in the somatics of grief practice and grief movement. But please see the principles and the basic concepts of grief so that we can welcome it into our lives as a blessing, which is what it really is. I hope this has been helpful. Please share your thoughts.